Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Sylver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Sylver.
It's Marshall Sylver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Life is good. Welcome home. I'm Marshall Sylver. You are totally loved. We are in the midst of exciting times, interesting times, if you ask me. One of the things that I find extremely interesting is just what goes on in the world. I stumbled upon a post this morning, actually, and it was talking about that let me just make a note here, pull it up. In California, they have passed a bill. The California state legislature has passed a bill approving up to $800 billion for slavery reparations. That's 2.5 times the size of the state budget. Now, bear in mind, California has never had slaves in its history. And it's going to be potentially paying people that were never slaves. And the people paying the money, us, you, me, we never owned slaves. Time to put an end to insanity. When you see something, you got to speak up about it. And this is just insanity. Somebody posted in the comments on that particular post, somebody's mad they're not going to be getting any money. No, somebody's mad they don't deserve any money. And I'm thinking, nobody living does. Nobody living was a slave. It's gotten crazy. We got to put our foot down. We got to start calling things what they are. And in due respect, if you're milking the government, you're milking my pocket. If you're milking the government, you're milking my entrepreneur friend's pocket. I used to tell if an employee steals from you, they put their hand in your pocket. They didn't put their hand in the till. They didn't steal money from the bank account. They reached in your physical pocket and took out money. If we are paying to support other countries before we take care of the people inside of this country, we are literally stealing money from every person we refuse to help from their pocket. Veterans, our elderly, our homeless here in the States that need help. I believe that your job as a human being, I don't care where you are, I don't care what country you're a citizen of, I don't care who you are. Your job is to protect your family. That's your job. It's to protect your family and ensure that your family is provided for first. If you're not doing that, guess what? You can't win. My wife asked me this morning, she said, did you know that until 2018, Dubai was considered the safest country in the world, most crime-free country in the world till 2018, June of 2018, actually. And I said, wow, that's amazing. She said, yeah, you know what happened in June of 2018? They let women start driving. They let women start driving. So I don't know. It's just an observation. Hey, we got a special guest. I bumped my guest today. I bumped the guest that we were going to have on the show, and I and put a new guest on. And the reason I put this new guest on is he's producing amazing results for people that I love. He's been on this show before. He has been a business partner of mine. He has been a student of mine, and now he is a great friend of mine on top of everything else. He is a real estate investor whose claim to fame, along with he and his partner, Valentino, Leo and he have the distinction of making real estate investing easy to understand. And with a program they've got going on right now, a 60-day program teaching you in bite-sized bits, 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. I thought it was a great idea to begin with. Without my motivation, without my nudging, without even my suggestion, both my wife and my son decided to become a part of his group, this 60-day training he's got going on. That's no cost, by the way. You can just jump in and do the training, which is amazing that he would commit to 60 days of training along with his partner, Leo. And the fact that it's free is mind-blowing enough. The fact that it's 30 minutes, anybody can do it. You are not so busy you cannot carve out 30 minutes of your life each day for 6 days a week to become a better person. So all of that I thought was a great idea. Here's what I didn't anticipate. I didn't anticipate that it would have such a profound and awesome impact on my wife and son. And that's the reason that I'm bringing this guest back again today, and he's the first guest we've had on twice. So that's awesome. And you got to understand, I must really be happy. Yesterday, my son, my 13-year-old son, Sterling Sylver, who's brilliant. He's a genius. He's amazing. Handsome, smart, kind, all the above. Check every box of things good. He's that. Yesterday, he made his first cold call, unsolicited call to potentially find a property to invest in. 13 years old, made his first call. And I didn't know he was going to make the call. Made the call. We had talked about it a day or two prior, and he said, I'm concerned that they'll think I'm too young. Now, if you've never heard my son speak, he has my voice. So I said, son, there are people making calls right now that sound about 20 years younger than you sound right now. Guarantee you. And he said, yeah, I know, Dad, but they're going to think I'm a kid and they won't give me the time of day. I said, son, carry yourself well. Now, to his credit, to Sterling's credit, he followed the script that Andrew and Leo had given him. And not just did one call yesterday, did two calls yesterday, and was amazing. I think he did three, actually. Landed a lead, landed one qualified lead out of 3 calls. That's really good odds. That's really, really, really good. And I got to tell you, because I've been training real estate professionals on the mindset and influence side of this for decades, that's not easy to do. Erica posted the video of him making the call, and the video got all these comments from adults. Way to go. Congratulations. I've been afraid to do that. You just inspired me. Now I can make these calls. Yay. Everybody's winning. I mean, can you imagine an economy where our teenagers, 10, 11, 12 years old or better, anything 10 years old and above, are out there looking for ways to make money? Not because they have to, because I didn't tell Sterling he had to make money. I didn't tell Erica, you need to learn about real estate investing. They're doing it because they want to. And can you imagine a world where kids are excited about anything, let alone something as powerful and as amazing as real estate investing? I don't know about you. It makes my tongue hard. It gets me excited. It makes me realize, yes, there is a future in this Brandon era of people not being so silly and entitled, massively entitled, of going out and actually doing something. And you know why Erica and Sterling are out doing something? We got everything we want. We live a life most people don't even dare to dream about. We got everything we want. But you know why they're doing this? I know what their motivation is. Their motivation is to contribute to the household so that I don't have to do so much, that I don't have to be the sole person contributing to our household. That's just pure love. And the fact that both my wife, yes, massively proud of my bride, and my son at 13 years old, they're doing it. Whoever inspired these two people that I love this much with all my heart is somebody that I love as much with all my heart. So it is with great joy that I welcome my great friend, mentor to my wife and my son, someone I trust at that level. Please welcome back to our show with a nice big Marshall Sylver welcome, Andrew Schlag. Welcome back.
Thank you, brother. Good to be with you.
Hey, I know that was a long-winded introduction, but number one, deserved. Number two, necessary. Because yesterday, Erica messaged me that Sterling had done his first cold call. And I don't know that everybody realizes how big a deal that is. That's a big deal. That's major. And I don't think most people realize that if you can start, wouldn't you agree that's one of the hardest things for you to get people to do?
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I know you're massively proud of them, but it is so well deserved because I've seen people come along and struggle for some people years trying to get that first call in, or many people months. And here Sterling at 13 years old, days in, picks up the phone and starts dialing and finds a qualified lead. And so it's just incredible. And it goes to show the simplicity of finding the right mentor, but the greatness. You've instilled so much, and it just shines through in Sterling and Erica and your whole family every time I see you guys. But the greatness you've instilled in them to not make excuses, but to go out and make it happen. And I think that should be a testament to everyone watching this, how powerful that shift is, regardless of age or whatever excuse we might otherwise find.
Well, tell me about the program you got going on, because this is, again, when I saw that you were doing, when Erica came to me and said, Andrew and Leo are going to do this 60-day program where they're going to teach everybody every 6 days a week. I know you take Sunday off to rest and worship, but they said, we're going to do this 6 days a week. First thing I said was, holy crap, what a commitment on their part.
Yeah.
But then when I saw that you were given bite-sized pieces and really good nuggets every single day, I said, how smart is that? How easily digestible, how non-threatening, exhausting. Anybody, even with ADD can get this done. And then when I, again, saw my wife and my son getting excited yesterday, I wish you could have seen his face, Andrew, when he walked into the studio after he'd made his cold calls. He was beaming. That alone should make you feel really good about who you are, that you brought that much joy to him. And then, you know, by response, that much joy in me. I went, wow, how awesome is this? So tell me again, I think that breakthrough alone, that's one of the biggest breakthroughs people have to make. I saw people that you have trained, that I know you've trained as well as you've trained Erica and Sterling, saying I haven't even done any of those calls yet.
Yeah. I think it's powerful, Marshall, and you share that. And I'll tell you how it come about. So it was interesting. A few weeks ago, Leo, every time we travel somewhere, you know, he's one of my great friends, and we're always going to an event or doing something. And he's always obsessing, you know, as you know, we run the mastermind community. He's always obsessing. How can we better serve our community? What else can we do to help them have success? You know, 42 people in the community. We have all of these having success, but what about this one that's struggling? And he obsesses. And so I love that. And we're having a conversation here, I don't know, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And we said, you know, people's doing 3-day challenges, 5-day challenges. And we was brainstorming among the leadership team, said, what could we do to really help people, including our community, and then those outside the community that want to spread the word and, you know, really are just hitting a brick wall as far as a lot of people just ain't sure where to start. And he looks at me, he goes, what about a 3-month daily live? I said, 3 months is a long time. He said, what about 60 days? I said, are you willing to commit to it? He goes, well, I'm willing for you to. I said, I'm in. Sold. So that's how it was born, you know, and we just started hopping on and sharing that value. And I said, if we can really showcase the simplicity in front of everyone, you know, I've been calling live sellers on the call. Leo's been teaching people how to break through that mentality that holds them back. And we just been tag teaming each day. And I said, if we can really help people break through this challenge, we will have opened up a whole new door for them. And then, of course, on the back end, customers and everything else begins to happen because we led with such massive value. So that was the philosophy behind what we're doing.
What steps are necessary? You broke it down step by step. You guys started with mindset, but then you dove immediately into actionables. If you could kind of give a framework of what actionables are required, because again, the moment that I saw my kid doing this, immediately I thought all kids need to learn this. Why aren't they teaching real estate investing in school? Why in the world isn't this something that's available to everybody in a way that kids would enjoy it? Because again, they're not required to do the course. They have other things that they could be doing, fun things, but every day, bam, noon, which you're going to also, when you get done with this show, you're going to be back on the air again. And that's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. And let me just say to you, Marshall, especially, thank you so much. I'm honored to be your second time guest, and you've transformed my life. And if bringing some value into your amazing family's life is something that we can do, I'm just honored to do that, and I'm grateful. And so thank you. I want to say that in front of everyone, because that's a very powerful thing that you've done, a gift that you've given me and has impacted many around me. On the what to do front, it's something that Leo does masterfully on day one, because I would have used to just delved in and been like, get on the freaking phone. On day one, Leo comes on and we talked probably less than 5 minutes about real estate. And the first objective was to get a win. And so we got everyone on the Zoom. At the first day was about 100 people on, I think 103. Everyone on the Zoom to commit, with a couple of exceptions, to either A, drinking a gallon of water a day, or B, getting up at a certain time the following day, or C, moving at least 10 to 20 minutes a day. Some small win. Something I've often heard you say is small commitments leads to large commitments. And I think many people, including myself, would make ourselves a promise, I'm going to dial at 5 o'clock. And then it's 7 and it's like, well, crap, it's too late now. I'll get to it tomorrow. And so we started out with small wins. And then from there, it just builds. It says, okay, you got a small win. Now go, and anybody can do this. Go on Facebook Marketplace and find 20 houses that are for sale. You can do it on Zillow. You can do it on any other free for sale site, for sale by owner preferably. As it go message 20 people. For years, I've been doing this, and on average, almost inevitably, 50% message back. We send a simple message, 50% respond back. By messaging 20 people in a matter of less than 24 hours, we can have had 5 conversations. 10 message back, 5 get on the phone with us. And so now it just comes down to the math. I said, okay, if we get on the phone with 5 people, we know that it's not super likely out of 5 that we're going to buy a house that fits our criteria of either real low price cash or payments over time. But we know that that's a small win. And if we do that enough times in our outbound dials, it's very common that within 10 to 20 conversations, we buy a house. And 27% of people who have houses for sale say they will entertain taking monthly payments over time, creative finance. And so just knowing that math, it all comes back to, okay, how do I ensure that I get 5 people on the phone today? And then again tomorrow, and repeat that until it begins to result in checks.
I love it. Hey, I wanted to bring Erica, my bride, on the show. And this is also another first. I wanted to bring her on the show to kind of give you some feedback and give everybody who's a brand new real estate investor who's thinking about, is this something I could even do? Because this is nothing like what Erica has done. Obviously, she's as kind and as awesome as the day is long, but she's never made calls like this. So I'm going to bring her on. I wanted to chat a little bit about, what her experience was and why she was able to do this through the knowledge that she got from you. So welcome, my love.
Hello.
So nice to see you, Erica.
Good morning to you, Andrew. Always great to see you.
Erica, tell us, what's your experience been with this incredible 60-day program that Andrew and Leo are doing?
I just have to rewind a little bit because it was, I believe, 2021 when Sterling first said, I'm interested in real estate investing. Now, it doesn't come as a
So he was 10 years
surprise.
old then.
Yes, it doesn't come as a surprise because, through your seminars, he sees a lot of other real estate investors. So he understands that this is a smart vehicle of wealth that he wants to gain knowledge in. And at that age, I just wasn't ready. And I frankly have never been interested in real estate investing. It just doesn't sound sexy to me. I'm more of like into health and fitness and like things like that. So real estate investing just wasn't that interesting. And so I kind of just, set his desires aside. And then again, he just repeated, I'm interested in real estate investing. And then 2022, we got another course from Andrew. It was a video course. And so we started watching it. And I think I could see it was a little bit overwhelming to Sterling at that time. So we paused. And when I saw Andrew and Leo's 60-day training show up, then I was like, okay, game on, let's do it. And I actually signed us up before even telling Sterling about it. And then I said, hey, so 12 o'clock, we got a Zoom with Mr. Andrew and Leo. We're going to do 30 minutes every day for 60 days. And so he couldn't say no at that point. And from then he was committed. And I am too. And then I realized through this whole process, because I'm doing it with him, so I'm doing the same actionables. And I made those calls day 3. And then I just kept being the example to Sterling that he needed that encouragement. So I put it on speaker, let him listen to the conversation. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's one of the greatest lessons is that you don't have to know what you're doing fully. Just take the actions and then it'll reveal itself to you. And so that's been a great takeaway. So thank you, Andrew, for your inspiration and encouragement through this whole training.
It's our pleasure.
Erica, tell me, you said it really well. You've never been interested, not something that was fascinating to you. You like fitness, you like being a mom, you're the best mom and wife ever. Was it scary to start doing the kinds of stuff that Andrew has been directing you guys to do?
Yes, 100%. All that self-talk. And so I actually had to put myself in a state of self-hypnosis and recenter myself, just dial and don't hang up. And one thing that I love that Leo said, because he's also very much like you, Marshall, in that he speaks more to the group through mindset, is don't pick up the phone saying, I hope they don't pick up. You want to have your mindset, okay, I'm here to close a deal kind of thing. So, and then actually for Sterling, I just said, it's a conversation. You're just getting information. You're saying, hey, I see this home is for sale. Tell me about it. Why are you selling? With all that information. And then I love what Andrew says. Okay, just say, why are you selling? And then shut up, because then they will just talk and talk and talk. And so,
You said something else. You said something else, and I want to put this out there because we got people watching this that are real estate investors that maybe, they too are afraid to make cold calls. You said something. We were discussing it last night, and you said Andrew and Leo have trained us to call, say, hi, my name is Erica. I'm a real estate investor. Are you still selling your house?
Not exactly.
Before you ask them what their name is. And I get that the usual telemarketing, process is, hello, is this Marshall Sylver? The moment somebody says that, I'm going, well, if you have to ask me, I probably don't want this call. But if you tell me the moment I pick up the phone who you are, number one, that is a completely different position. And number two, what's your purpose? Then I can quickly say yay or nay. And if I am selling my house, of course I want to talk to you. But it's being that smart with even the phrase, have I caught you at a good time versus the phrase, have I caught you at a bad time? Night and day. And so those are all the things that I'm just so impressed, because you can't teach people that unless they want to change themselves, not want to make a real estate deal, want to change themselves. That's what I'm so excited about. your program, Andrew. That's what I'm so proud of, Erica, you and Sterling, as you're doing this, is you guys are moldable talent. And, Jesus, and I'm talking about Marshall, didn't do miracles in his own city. So the fact that another mentor was able to inspire the two of you and enroll you guys and get you going, often that's what's required. I know, Andrew, you agree with this because obviously you have a deep love of Christ and God. And you know for a fact that Jesus didn't do miracles in his own city. And the people closest to us are the ones that are hardest for us personally to teach because, we're that close to them. So again, everything about this, my brain's spinning saying, how do I get Andrew and Leo into every single high school in the country? How do I get this going? Because Lord knows the next generation can save the entire economy. That's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. I love that.
By the way, Erica, I know you got other stuff going on. Thank you for jumping on quick. I appreciate that. You are loved, and I can't wait to take you to lunch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking to Erica, Andrew.
See. We'll see ya. Thank you.
Got my hopes up. Nice to see you, Erica.
So that's got to feel so good, brother, to know, again, I'm watching them change. And what you guys have been doing this 60-day program, are we in the second week or the third?
This is day 10.
Day 10.
Yeah.
So
day 10.
Remarkable. So we're basically in week 2 right now.
Yes, sir.
So can people still jump onto this remarkable program?
Absolutely. So something we did from the beginning, because we knew that it would spread, although I've got to confess, we didn't know how much it was going to spread. We ended up doing a layout where we have started from the beginning, but we have a lot of people who are very excelled on the program. And so we have started from the beginning. We're doing dials. We're getting people to get leads. We are turning deals, and then we are taking a step back because naturally not everyone moves at the same pace and new people are coming in. So without being overly repetitive, we have been going through the whole process. People can still jump in, although you definitely don't want to miss a day. For those of you who are just now getting in, you don't need to feel like you're getting a late start, because there will be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, because we only have 30 minutes together each day, and closing deals are the whole objective here. And so there's going to be people closing deals in week 3. There's going to be people closing deals in week 7 and everywhere in between. And of course, some of them are going to be selling deals by week 7 and 8. So it's been an incredible first 10 days. You can still hop in, and we'll be glad to have you.
And I want to add something. It's obviously part of my motivation of doing this show live versus pre-recorded is I absolutely believe the majority of the population has the attention span of a pissant, that they just do not engage with things because they don't have to, because they know that they can come back to it. So if I subscribe to a podcast and a new one drops, I don't have to watch it today. I can watch it at my leisure. The challenge is, unless there's a really compelling reason, I don't ever watch it. And so the idea that it's live is different. It's more compelling. And as we in the next couple of weeks go back to taking more and more questions, I'm actually going to take questions today. So if you want to jump on the show, I'm going to take questions live today. If you want to jump on the show and ask questions live, studiomoney.info/live, do that. Do you think, because I know that you've had a consistent number of people tuning in every single day, and that was one of the first lessons that you were teaching, is don't be halfway in. Either be fully in or don't waste our time in even engaging, because you're not going to have any success anyway. So be fully here. Don't jump on the call and have your camera off so that you can, watch the sporting game or have your lunch or sit in your underwear. Put on a shirt, for God's sake, at the very least. Put your camera on. Let us see you. Ask questions. Become involved with this. Do you think that the fact that it's live matters?
I think that's a huge piece of it, because when it's not live, you can sit there, watch it on your timeline. Number one, that's commitment. How committed are we to it or not? So it's totally a choice. Once we committed to going live, then we're there. And just yesterday, we done our first breakout room together, and we connected, I think about 85 of the people who were hopped in a breakout room and met a new friend and connected up. And I have no doubt some of those people are going to wind up doing deals together, becoming business partners. And that connection, that interaction changes everything. Not to mention, we're sitting there. They get to hear from a guy who's done over 500 deals. They get to hear from Leo, who's done personal training and mindset coaching since he was in his early teens. And we get to live answer their questions and interact with them just like you do here on this show. So it's incredible time.
It is. So what's in store for people? If this is day 10 and it's going to go on 60 days, what's in store for people?
Yeah, so today is deal structuring. Today we are going to be going through some live deals of people who are on the Zooms who have contracted deals. One of the guys contracted 2 deals yesterday, 2 incredible deals, I might add. And so we're going to be going through a few of the deals live and explaining how that I would structure them if they were mine. And throughout the coming days, we'll be continuing to do accountability check-ins. Make sure you're getting up when you said you were going to get up. Make sure that you're drinking the water, moving like you said you were going to move, making sure you've done the calls you committed to make, and moving toward getting leads, getting contracts, and then once that happens, moving toward getting a check. That's our whole objective for this entire 60 days, is to take you through that cycle. Getting leads, which is where most people get jammed up, is getting on the phone. Get leads, then get contracts. That's the next place. The next point of a pivot point is you get a deal and then you're like, crap, what do I do with it? So we're there to help you make sure you get the contract. And then after you get the contract, well, crap, how do I turn it to a check? And so it's turning it to a check. That is what's in store over these next 50 or so days we have left together.
Good. Tell me about some of the deals that you've done, because you emphasize finding owner financed deals. So let's talk a little bit about owner financed deals and that whole process, because one of the comments that both Sterling and Erica have made about you, they said, Andrew is so good on the phone. And that's one of the things that I love about what you guys are doing, is much like you're going to go over deal structuring today. This isn't theory. This isn't, gosh, this should work this way. You're actually doing live seller calls on those 30-minute sessions so that people can see what does it look like live. So if you call up and nobody answers, here's the message that you leave. If you call up and somebody answers, here's how you turn them around. Erica said she took a call that somebody said, you know what, I've gotten all these calls from investors and you're the first person that's called me that I could really trust. And I said, yeah, did they ask you next, what are you wearing? I said, that's absolutely true, because you're a woman and your voice is innocent. They're responding to you. I said, that's the same reason that they respond to Andrew, is that he's got that Southern drawl. He's got that nice country hick, innocence about him that, yeah, people just talk to him. And I said, he's not grammatically correct, but he does that. And he does that on purpose because it works. It causes people to drop their guard and to talk and listen. And gosh, thanks for being so real with me. And, that's even what I said to Sterling. I said, when they discover that you're 13, if they ever do, guess what? They're not going to say no to you. They're going to be so amused. They're going to stay on the phone with you and you're going to get that deal done. And they're never going to know what 13-year-old wind just hit them.
So true.
And I said, that's the power. And I said, that's one of the things that I've got to do when I'm speaking and training, is I've got to find ways to geek myself up. And that's a very real consideration in my brain, is I know that I can be intimidating. I've been on stage since I was 7 years old. I know what level of confidence I carry. So I've got to, disempower myself and make a little bit of fun at myself and, let people know I don't take myself so seriously. I'm just a real human being who God has graced and blessed. So today you're talking about deal structures. Why is the first deal so hard for people? I have an expression, your first million is the most difficult one to make, that once you can do it again and again. I think that's true about a lot of things. Your first cold call, your first real estate deal. Why do you suppose that first deal is so very hard?
So I think it's interesting because a lot of us, and I promise I'm not crying, but I've got lights, so my lighting's good.
Oh, I know what I do to you.
So if you see me wiping my eyes, I think when I started, at least, it was very interesting because I began to look at things like very objectively of, wait a minute, I need to go look at these deal structures. There's all these ways to buy deals. We can buy them with nothing down. We can pay cash. We can buy with owner financing. We can buy sub two. And I heard all of these terms and all of these different ways to buy them. And it began to kind of confuse me. And so as I'm getting very confused, forgive me. So as I'm getting very confused and kind of overwhelmed by all the strategies that are being thrown at me, once I was able to look at it objectively and say, hey, I'm really just asking questions. I'm really just making offers, and I'm not structuring deals anymore, then it become much less stressful.
Well, and Erica said it, and what Leo had taught them is it's a conversation. Your life, their life, nobody's going to die no matter how this call goes. And they have a challenge that they have something they need solved. You have a potential solution. So when you're calling them, you're doing them a favor. They're not doing you a favor by saying, yeah, I want to cut a deal with you and sell the house. You're doing them a favor by making an offer on the property and giving them an option that they could utilize to move that property along. And then the same thing on the reverse side of it when you're selling a property. And I know that that's one of the main mindsets that everybody's got to make their leap into is I am doing them a favor by making this call. My presence in their life is a blessing. I'm not an interruption in their day. I'm not, unlike somebody calling me in the middle of the day to see, do I want to switch car insurance when I don't have any real interest in switching car insurance? Never crossed my mind today or last week. Selling my property has been on my mind. So you're doing me a favor. Do you think that low self-esteem measures into that fear of making the call and being rejected?
Absolutely. Something I think interesting, Marshall, and I learned this from you, was as I'm getting on the phone to really look at it that way, because I always looked at it. And if I'm raising private money, I was asking for money. If I am buying a house, I'm asking them to sell me their house. And once I begin to look at it as truthfully, I am a matchmaker. I'm finding people who need a solution and I'm matching them to a solution. It takes all the pressure off. I'm no longer asking anybody for anything. I'm not, please sell me your house. I'm going, hey, I may or may not be a fit. Tell me about the house. If we're a fit, we're going to work together. If we're not, I'm cool. And once I was able to really step into that mindset, it took all the pressure off. It took the zigzag in my brain out and really removed it to go, okay, my simple objective here is to ask questions, provide solutions. And I think a lot of people, and this was me in the past, Marshall, I was very afraid of success. So a lot of people, I think, believe they're afraid of failure, but I get on the phone and they tell me they're going to accept my offer. Crap. Now what am I going to do? How do I fill out this contract? And so I got the contract filled out and signed. Crap. How am I going to close this thing? And so there's every one of these objections that are mine. And so we lack clarity. And when we lack clarity, we lack action. And once we can, for me, it is all about finding that person I can attach to and says, hey, they've done this over 500 times. I'm going to flow along with them. And I think the other piece of clarity and something that's very important, when I got into this business a decade ago now, it makes me feel old. I got in, I needed money immediately. And so I didn't have time or take time to think, what do I really want this business to do for me? What do I want this business to look like in a decade? Shoot, I was just imagining if I could get $2,000 more a month coming in, at least I could pay my doctor bills and not be a burden to my family. And that was as far as I could allow myself to dream at 21 years old and broke. And so the moment we can actually get clarity on what we want our life to look like and say, hey, I want this business to serve me in this way, because the box on the land doesn't excite me at all. Eric was talking about not being really excited about real estate. I'm not that excited about it either, but I am excited about the cash flow and the checks and the freedom it gives us to be able to impact, to be able to donate $100,000 to a charity that helps children, to be able to impact lives of millions of people that otherwise I may never be able to do that with.
That's awesome. What have your breakthroughs been? You know, when you and I met, you were heavily involved in real estate investing. You were actually working as a trainer for another very well-known real estate brand. And one of the first things I said to you was, Andrew, you're the brand. You know, you may not realize how good you are already. And I've watched you blossom. Obviously, you and I partnered up on a real estate investment training company. I thought that was amazing. We did some great work, some people. And then I realized that to the degree that we were partners, you didn't need me. You could just do it just fine on your own. And again, as a testament to just your integrity and how you do business, you know, I've had lots of relationships like that. Some ended well, some did not end well, and ours didn't end at all. It just transitioned into something that was better for both of us. And so, you know, one of the things that I've watched you do is, we were just talking about this morning, how do you build a brand to the point where you no longer have to go out into the marketplace and tell people who you are? Everybody is literally coming after you. And one of the reasons I'm doing this broadcast, we lose money every day we do the broadcast, and not a whole lot right now because we've paused the cash giveaways. Yeah, we're about to launch it back up. I don't mind, because I think that even if the number is small and it grows, there are people that need this message being what we teach in their lives every single day. So I've noticed, because I've jumped on a couple of your calls, you have both seasoned investors, people that have been around for a while, done a lot of deals, and you have people that haven't done one deal on those calls. And again, what I believe is happening, because the calls are live, is you've got people that would be every single person on that call today is going to have to be faced with the fact that the 13-year-old guy on the calls made his calls, did his follow-up. And so every single adult that didn't do their follow-up should rightfully so feel massively guilty. It's kind of like church. So how do you think, again, as a group, it pushes people? Do you think that guilt, that thing is, hey, you know, other people are doing this, I need to get off my butt and do it too? How useful do you think that is for people?
I think it's everything. I don't think any of us were meant to be alone. I think that was proved through COVID. And as we see the community come together, and you see the guys who, you know, I think Glenn, in the first 14 days of last month, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it was 9 deals that he contracted in the first 14 days. And somebody, to my excitement, made the comment to me, said, he done more deals this month than you did. I said, that means I'm a great teacher. And I say that because looking at the group, and you see Glenn, who's doing, you know, 9 deals in 14 days, and you're like, someone else may be coming to get their first deal going, my goodness, I can never attain that. But then you see, you know, Sterling working through his first deal. And then you see everybody in between, somebody else getting their 5th deal. And it's validation at every level. It's validation of the people who have done over 100 deals and the people who are working on their first deal. And I think something, again, that begins to happen as we're in that group of winners is we bounce off each other and we find our strengths and weaknesses. One of the people who came through your Inner Circle program and then found us had come into the mastermind, was a couple months in and hadn't yet done her first deal. So she, being smart, being creative, reached out to someone else in the community and said, I see you have 3 houses you're needing help selling. Could I dispo them for you? Could I go find you a tenant? We sell on lease option. Could I go find you a tenant and you pay me for bringing you the tenant to the house so you don't have vacant houses sitting there? She just got her, I believe, 5th or 6th check since doing that. And so it comes back to community is everything, because not all of us, you know, regardless how good we want to be, are probably going to be strong at everything. But as we see others winning and we team up and we become better together, better as a community, that validation continues to drive us. And whether it's guilt of crap, I'm getting behind, or for some of us, it's healthy competition. And, you know, growing up in a family of 6, I always had that with my brothers, you know, always have that healthy competition. And Leo and I partnering up, we always have that of keeping up with one another in a very healthy but awesome way. And I think that's a very powerful thing as well that begins to set in as we're in this group of you know, over 100 people gathering together every day, many of which are now doing deals.
Yeah, I love it. The other thing I love about it is you said that one of the first classes we said, drink a gallon, choose one of the three. Drink a gallon of water, spend this much time learning something new, or go out, and get 20 minutes of movement today. Digestible, not impossible. And the fact that you guys are not just teaching investment strategies, you're teaching life strategies. I've watched you. How much have you lost in fat since we met?
45 pounds.
45 pounds of fat in a guy whose body didn't look 45 pounds overweight to begin with. So you've lost 45 pounds of fat. You've added massive amounts of muscle gain, and your overall just appearance is night and day from when we met. And your joy level, your confidence level, how you carry yourself, how you speak, everything's changed. What do you think has been the biggest cause of those changes in you?
Everything happens for a reason. And so I think the first thing is realizing to never live in regret. And that's a powerful one. For many people listening to this, you've had a marriage that failed, or you had a business that failed, or you had the deal that fell through, or somebody took advantage of you and you lost a bunch of money and people have done you wrong. And it's so easy to get in that cycle of, crap, if I just could have, if I just would have. And it doesn't serve us at all. And so there was two pivotal pieces, and I'm not saying this because you're here or because Leo's my partner. I'm saying this because it's true, and I've told it outside of both of your presence. But one pivotal piece was in 2020 when you and I connected, and you began to, I say it sincerely, it was as if the voice of God spoke through you and gave me an opportunity and the encouragement I needed to step out of the darkest time of my life into some new levels of impact that I knew I was called to. So that was one step. That was one segment of it. And the other was when I became great friends with Leo before we partnered up. He come to me and he said, "Hey, if you teach me to buy houses, I'll help you lose weight." And it was so interesting because I'd never done anything like that before. And trades usually aren't the best thing. But he had led with so much value. He'd get on the phone with me, help me with my social media. He'd get on the phone with me and help me with multiple things. And so when he suggested I go to the gym because he knew I wasn't happy with my appearance, for one, I was like, okay. And about 6 of the next 8 weeks, we were together at various events. And every day it was just the habit. Hey, go to the gym this morning. Hey, put the potatoes, the steak, and the dessert back. Go through the buffet line. You got to stick with the chicken. It was those minor shifts, and that consistency began to develop in me more confidence and validation. I say what I'm going to do. I do what I say. I commit to myself, and I follow through. And I think being able to get out of that past regret, worry, fear, anxiety, whatever the heck you want to put a label on it, and really step into my impact and my power at a new level. And I just have to say it all comes back to the people who I allow to speak into my life. And I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in allowing those to speak into your life who you think you're supposed to, rather than who you should. And I believe God give us all an intuition or intuitiveness for a reason. And when you're hearing the constant negativity, it's probably time to distance. And when you're hearing someone who lifts you up and speaks into your life in a new and powerful way, it's probably worth taking a moment to listen to.
30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. That's a big commitment from you. How do you juggle that? Again, when I decided that I was going to do this broadcast, we're going to go back to 2 hours a day. I have a very specific plan for the reason that we're doing that. When you decided to do 30 minutes a day, is it sustainable now that you're kind of into it? Is it something you think you could do 60-day cycles? Could I bring you on? If I formed a network that was live every day, and from 10 till noon, Marshall Sylver, from noon till 12:30, Andrew and Leo, and then so on and so forth, is that something you would want to do, number one? And number two, is it something that you could commit to doing?
That's a very interesting question. And I'm the type of guy that say yes now and figure out how. So when I said yes to the 60 days, it was like, we'll see what happens. I said, I'll do it. So it's caused a couple late night flights. Those have been the toughest days because I travel a lot, as you know. And so that's probably been the biggest shift for me. But the answer to me is yes. We are in a season. I talk to people about going through seasons of hustle. And I'm in a season where I believe it's a mission. We're on a mission to impact people, young people, entrepreneurs, those who really want to step into their power and do good. It's a very interesting time in our country. And having a great love for our country and concern for where it's headed, I look at this and I don't look at it as, is this worth my time per se? I look at this as this is an opportunity. What we're doing right now in the 60 days, we're teaching people real estate and money, but we're teaching people freedom. We're teaching people to have their voice back. We're teaching people to step into their confidence and to not be shut down because someone else says, and I know you're passionate about this, Marshall, and I love this show and I love you for that. And I think it's very important. So that being said, everything that serves the mission, I have been very much about finding time to do. And so I would be very open to that discussion. We love doing this. We love sharing, and we love seeing people impacted for good.
I'd like that. I launched something back in 2013 that I'm positive was before its time, called the $1 Million Training Network. And the intention of the network was to find people a place like this that's healthy and not the garbage that they get pounded on every single day. That's not true. That's mainstream media and propaganda and Mockingbird and all the BS. I said, I'd just like to have a place where people can go. They know that the truth will be told. They know that the people that are doing the broadcast care about them, and that they know ultimately it's going to keep nudging them on a daily basis. The show convicts me. When I agreed to do this show every single day live 5 days a week, same thing that you probably felt. I went, man, I tell you what, I'll give it 90 days. And if at the end of the 90 days, I don't like it, then I'm just done. And I'll figure it was good. We just had a comment. John McCrocklin says, your patriotism makes me miss Rush. Yes, we all miss Rush. That's for sure. At least I do. So yeah, it's something like that. And so we've put a lot of energy recently.
Can I interrupt you, Marshall?
Yes.
Rush Limbaugh actually is who I was listening to when I heard a radio ad that got me started in real estate 10 years ago, February 2014. So just had to share that, but keep going.
No, that's rock and roll to me, because I agree that was a voice of reason. And everybody, when Rush passed, I don't know if a lot of people know this, Rush had 15 million daily listeners. That's bigger than any broadcast on television currently. 15, that's getting up Trump tweet size. So that's crazy, the number of listeners he had every single day. And so what I say that speaks to is the conservative nature of the United States. That, again, I think most of us love our country. I think most of us want every visitor to our country to be vetted. I think that's fair. I want to be vetted when I go to their country. I think that every patriot in this country wants to not only protect our borders, we want to take care of our needy. We do. We want to take care of our homeless. We want to certainly take care of our veterans and our police departments and first responders. But I think part of the challenge is mainstream media, because it's bought and paid for, speaks so loudly on woke topics and insane content that people just are tired and exhausted and concerned. I myself am concerned about any false flags that may pop up between now and November 5th, just because that's the nature of the beast here. What do you think is going to happen? And then I'm gonna let you go, because I appreciate you jumping in. Like I said, I bumped our other scheduled guest when I saw what massive success my son and my daughter were having, and you jumped on this at short notice. So a couple things. What do you think is going to happen during the course of this year as we're in an election year? And then ultimately, how can everybody jump on the call with you at noon coming up here in about an hour?
Absolutely. Well, I don't have a crystal ball. I do think it's a very interesting time we live in. And I know there's a lot of hatred. And my prayer would be, and is, that good wins. And I know there's still hundreds of millions of great people in our country who want what's right for our country and for their families and see the craziness that's happening all around us that is beyond, it's just not common sense anymore. And so I know there's some very evil powers that be that would have it other ways. And I think there's still way more good people than bad. So I choose to focus on that, even though the news might have it the opposite. And how people can join us. So there's a link. We can post it up here. They can go to, oh, here we go. Perfect. Zoom.gorelu.
So by the way, that is my amazing son, who is the producer of this show. That's Sterling Sylver on the ball, having the link ready to pop up on the screen instantly. And I just want to give some kudos and a tip of my hat to, once again, my amazing family.
Way to go, Sterling. So yeah, come join us. We're going to have an amazing time together. Sterling and Erica and the whole crew, and what we're doing. We're going to be showcasing a lot of deals. It's live. It's in front of you. There's still opportunity for you to send your deals to me and to get them in live, for me and my team to call them between closing our own deals. We're just having fun and growing together and spreading good things. And thank you again, Marshall. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be with you. And it's always awesome to talk to you.
I love it, man. I'm so grateful for you in my life. I am so grateful for what you do for people. You know, besides my family, we've had numerous students that have come through my program who have joined your programs in your education inside of real estate investing, along with Leo, and produced massive results. So I stake my reputation on what you guys teach. If you want to follow Andrew, find him online on social media. Andrew Schlag, SCHLAG. Will help you get there. And your personal website is what?
The website to hop on is zoom.gorelu.com. And personal website, you can always find me at andrewschlag.com.
Awesome. You take care, brother. Thanks for being on the show. And I know my family looks forward to seeing you in about an hour.
Thank you, Marshall. See you soon. Bye for
Peace.
now.
Bye for now. Good stuff. Hey, you know, you're in the right place at the right time. We've got Turning Point coming up in Las Vegas in just a few weeks here. And I would love to have you be my guest. Tickets are normally $3,000 a piece. I'm going to give you 2 tickets if you're amongst the first 3 people who call 1-800-92-POWER. That's 1-800-92-POWER. Call 1-800-92-POWER right now. Talk to my executive assistant, Anthony. We call him AC because he's so cool. Tell him I sent you, and we'll get you set up with tickets. It's in Vegas, July 16, 17, half day on the 18th. We'd love to see you there. To give you an idea of what you're about to see, I'm going to play a Turning Point video for you. And then when we come back, I'm going to start taking your calls live on the air. So if you want to chat with me, you know what to do. studiomoney.info/live. Let them know what you want to talk about. And if it's appropriate and interesting to me, we'll get you slated. In the meantime, take a look. This is Turning Point.
Turning Point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a turning point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions. How to use PND, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
You will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
Yeah, I know you want to be there. Over 1 million people couldn't possibly be wrong. I've been teaching Turning Point for almost 40 years, and it genuinely is going to create a turning point for you. I'm very excited today because youth, they are our life. They are the planet. You know, and our job as people who have leveled up is to make sure that we're giving great inspiration and education to young people. They are the country. They are the world. They are the universe. And I just love getting questions from young people. Today's guest, I'm particularly giddy about having this young man on the show. He's massively impressive. Please welcome as a call-in guest with questions for us on Marshall Sylver Live. This is James Kish. Welcome to the show, James. There you are.
Hi, so I do have one question for you today.
I have an answer.
So I'm talking
before we get chatting, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you?
So I'm 16. I'm a young carpenter and aspiring business owner in the future. And I'm talking with some potential clients right now in my business. I want to sell tables. I want to make and sell some live edge tables. And I was wondering, how often should I reply to messages and contact the possible leads and clients without seeming needy to sell?
First thing I want you to do is to not be needy. And if you're not needy, you never have to worry about being needy.
Okay.
Right? So that's
Yeah.
first thing. And that's mindset. And you know a lot about mindset because you're a miracle. Second thing I want to point out is I had two guys who came and visited me in Vegas. And I know you're in Henderson, correct?
Yes.
So I had two gentlemen who came and visited me. Anybody that's in the marketing world will know these names, Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher, two remarkable marketers. They came and they sat in my living room and they said, how big is your database? And I said, I don't know, 150,000 at the time. And they said, how often do you mail to your database? And I said, every couple of weeks. They said, you don't have a database. And I said, what do you mean? They said, if you're not mailing every single day to your database, you don't have a database. And I said, how often do you mail to your database? They said 2-3 times a day, which I knew was true because I was on their email list and I got their emails 2 or 3 times a day. I said, won't you offend people? Won't they opt out? And what they said was pivotal. And it's the answer to your question, James. What they said was, if they opt out, they're not our customers. And so what I want you to do is to change this frame around. Many years ago, I went through a divorce. And when I went through the divorce, it impacted my self-esteem. I felt pretty low and I felt like a loser. And I needed to remind myself that I was not a loser. But when I would go up to ask women out on a date, I would think, gosh, sure would be lucky if they give me their phone number, rather than approaching them with the idea, gosh, they sure are lucky that I'm going to give them some of my attention. Completely different mindset, right?
Yeah.
So the mindset I want you to have is anybody that you would talk to about your beautiful woodwork is blessed that you're having a conversation with them. That's the first thing. It's kind of like we were talking about with the gentleman that was my guest a moment ago. Real estate investors calling, gosh, hope you'll be interested in talking to me, is a different stance than saying, no, I'm calling you because I have a solution to your challenge. And that is the mindset that I want you to take. Now, may I talk about anything else besides your woodworking? Because I think it's a part of your story.
Um, how, like you said, a database. How can I build a database?
Are you on? I see you're on social media on your Facebook page. I'm looking at your beautiful smile and also some examples of your woodworking. How active are you on social media?
Um, Decently. I could be better on it, really.
So first and foremost, I was a woodworker as a teen. I loved working with wood. That was one of my favorite things to do. And I had an outcome though. I was also a magician. And so as a woodworker, I made things that other people made, laminated, cutting boards
Yeah.
or, any kind of knickknacks or anything like that. I also though got into woodworking because I built my own magical illusions. And so I love woodworking. Do you know there's a woman in Vegas? Her name is Lupe Nielsen, and she is a master builder. You should meet this person not only because she's a great person and she's also in Vegas. Her and her departed husband, Norm Nielsen, built some of, and she continues to build the most beautiful magic made out of hardwood, out of woodworking ever built. So she's somebody you want to meet as a crafts person, but she's also someone you'll want to meet as a marketer because she builds these very exclusive pieces of magic, but also documents the entire process. So you can see her in her shop with her lathe. You can see her in her shop, gluing stuff together, finishing stuff, and explaining every step of the way why she's doing what she's doing. I think that that is the magic of your marketing. That's what's going to happen is somebody's going to see you working on because there's a lot of work that goes into
Yeah.
woodworking. It's not easy. And if you have all 10 fingers, God bless you. You're really good. But there's a lot of work that goes into woodworking that I don't think people know about that I think is beautiful to watch. I often will get caught when I'm scrolling through social media, watching somebody turn something on the lathe or watching somebody create, this glassy finish on a piece of wood. And I say, wow, that's just remarkable how you did that. So I think you should focus on social media, number one. The other thing is you should focus on target rich environments. What's a target rich environment? One target rich environment might be you making something special and specific to an influencer. So, if, as an example, and I'm not suggesting you should, although as a hypnotist, I am, you should make up a special cutting board for Marshall Silver Live or charcuterie board for Marshall Silver Live that I can talk about on the air, that I can show, all of our viewers on the air how great it was that you did. And if you do that for influencers, guarantee you they're going to say, hey, if you want any more information, check out James Kish on social media, check out the woodworking and the project that he does and have him do something special and unique to you. The other things I would be doing if it were me and it were my business, whether I was 13 or 93 or anything in between, is I would say, what business do I want to be in? Do I want to be in the business of mass market? Do I want to have a whole line that I, sell on Etsy? Do I want to, distribute my products mass? Or do I want to become known as an artist who only makes a limited number of this particular thing or only custom made works? So that all would also go into the equation. I also want you to know that again, nothing sells better than a story. All things being equal, you may know my daughter Prosperity launched a jewelry line at 7 years old called Prosperity Style. The jewelry, the design she came up with is beautiful. I'm proud to wear Prosperity Style cufflinks. I am proud to, have a Prosperity Style necklace on. And I also know, though, that other people buy them because they're good designs. There's a percentage of people that buy them because she founded the company at 7 years old. That's part of the story. You have battled some amazing things in your life, and you continue to be a classic example of somebody who doesn't say no, who joyfully and cheerfully lives your life at its fullest. That, my friend, is a badge of honor and something for you to say, look, there's other people that don't do what I have done. and don't carry themselves the way that I carry myself at 16 years old, let alone at 60 years old. So I want you to know that your brand, by the way, do you have a name for your company?
Woodcrafter James is what I'm calling it now.
Lovely. That story is what's important. And so I have followed you and your story, and your mom Amy, all of the posts about your incredible journey. I have followed those. I have rooted for you. I have celebrated victories with you that you might not even know about. You have brought massive joy to my life before you even got on this call. So I want you to know you're important. You matter. And your whole story and your whole brand matters. If you're just a 16-year-old guy doing woodwork, that's cool. That's great. But a person with your background and your story doing woodwork, even better.
So, like your daughter's story, how can I get my story out there more to focus my point on kind of selling at the same time?
Got it. So can I speak freely and openly? You haven't broached the subject, and
Yeah,
I broached. Pardon?
completely. Yeah, speak freely.
Okay. So can I say you battled cancer in a huge way and
Yeah,
you're beating the crap
absolutely.
out of it? That's your story. And a proud story and a joyful story, and the story of somebody who refused and refuses to let anything else beat them without a fight. James, that's your story. That's beautiful. That's remarkable. Again, looking at you now and seeing your disposition and your joy and your smile, knowing what you've already battled and been victorious about, that's your story. I think, I think your brand is battle born, and I think the explanation is, when were you first diagnosed with cancer?
2015 when I was 7.
So when you were 7.
Yep.
And how many treatments have you had?
I've gone through everything I could possibly go through: surgery, chemotherapy, radiation.
And look at you, smiling. There are some people that get a hangnail today and whine and complain and get into victimhood over it. You are a talent, my friend. You are to be admired. You are to be not only acknowledged. You're somebody whose life lesson, to not just people that have gone through similar challenges as you, anybody. Because again, I told Sterling, when at 13 years old, he's making cold calls for his real estate investing career. I said, there's a 40-year-old woman that has been wanting to make those calls that can make them now. And I believe that whatever your brand is called, whatever you do with it, I think your brand needs to have your story. My brand does. My brand, talking about the fact that I was born and raised in a family of 11 kids by a mother who raised us without a father figure there, dirt poor, no electricity, no phone, no running water in the home that I was born into. That's all part of my story. That's what makes my current circumstance even better. And I think that is what you want to joyfully. You don't want it to be a sob
Yeah.
story. Oh, and I know you don't want it to be, because I saw your eyes light up when I mentioned it. No, it's not a sob story. No, it's not even the lead off portion of the story. But to not tell the story at all, I think that's not acknowledging a blessing God gave you to hold every single day precious, which I know you do. I know
Mhm.
your mother has an amazing spirit. I love Amy so much. She's a remarkable photographer who has caught some of the best images we've ever had of my family. So I love that. But I also love the fact that your mom has been an entertainer. She's a creative person. And that's the genetics inside of you that,
Yeah.
spurns this. I don't know a whole lot about your dad, but I certainly know your mom well enough to know that genetically that's what you're doing. And I think that's beautiful. And I think that's it. And you getting on this call right now, you actively seeking this out. But I also think that you've got to stay focused on the commerce side of things. I don't think that's a great name for your business.
Okay.
So I think that we can start there. I think JK, your initials, are
Uh-huh.
good. JK Woodworks, and in parentheses, and we're not kidding. That's kind of interesting. That's funny. That's
Yeah.
amusing. That's memorable. I think when you want to be sure that nobody's JKing,
Uh-huh.
you come to me. And I think that all of those elements are your brand. I think you're a good-looking man. That clearly is a part of your brand. Your smile lights up the entire room. You may have one of the best profile pictures I've ever seen. And it's just because the joy inside of you is massive. That's what you want to stay on. The last thing I will say, what do you charge for your work?
So for some of my smaller stuff, it can be from about $30 all the way up to $300. With these tables that I'm starting to go through and talk to some people about, I'm starting to go into the custom realm that can be up to a couple grand.
Good. Beautiful. Sounds like you know your worth. So that's the only thing I wanted to be sure that you said, that you charge more for your work.
Yep.
And that by charging more, you do two things. It makes other people respect you. It also makes you able to and willing to charge more. I have something. I bought it last, I think either October or November at the latest. And it is a 10-inch replica of Harry Houdini's water torture cell. And this thing is not only made to scale, everything about this 10-inch replica of Houdini's water torture cell is exact. The exact wood, the exact metal. Nothing that's on this thing was die cast or made on a 3D printer. Everything is made the way that it would be made if it was made in its original 10 times the size version, because it's a 1/6 replica of the actual prop. And it's taken forever for the builder to build this thing. He's building 25 of them. They weren't cheap. It's just a model. It's not even actually a magic prop, but it does everything that the full-sized version of the Houdini water torture cell does. I paid $3,000 for this thing, and it's 10 inches tall, but it's beautiful. It's a work of art. I'm paying $600 for a case to put this thing inside of to showcase it properly, because it's that wonderful a piece of art. That's what I want you to keep in mind, is you're not a furniture maker, you're an artist. That is going to be the distinction. And I want you to really recognize that custom work that you do, yeah, the $35 pieces, so be it. I don't think that's your market. Being that you are young, being you guys started early, I want you to put your heart into being excellent. I want people to say, "Oh, you own a Kish, do you?" And I want people to look at that and have that be a stamp of perfection. What else? What other questions do you have for me?
I think that's it. Thank you so much for answering those questions for me.
You are awesome. Have you been to Turning Point yet?
No, I have not.
So I want you to talk to your mom, and I'd love to have both you and your mom and your siblings, if they want to come at all. Come join us July 16th through the 18th there in Vegas, right in your neck of the woods. I think it's at Alexis Park, so it's even over on the east side. And I would love to have you as my guest. And I would love to even have you bring some of your woodwork and some of your art pieces and make them available at the event as my guest. No cost to you, purely me saying I like to support young entrepreneurs.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I will talk to my mother about that.
That sounds great, James. Have an awesome day, my friend.
You too. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care. Awesome stuff. We love young entrepreneurs. What's your excuse? That's my question. Get off of it and get bitty. Hey, if you did not take down the URL to get on the call with Andrew, make sure you do that. We got another caller in the studio. Yes, we are opening the lines back up. So I'm excited to have you. We've got Ash Smith on the call. Welcome home. Glad to see you.
Hello, Marshall. I'm a Brit, so it's very nice to see an American patriot.
Yeah, and vice versa. There's a lot of patriots over in the UK that are dealing with some of the same stuff we're dealing with here in the US right now.
Yeah, very much, very much. So funny enough, I was just coming out of a meeting, and I saw you were streaming on LinkedIn, and I've been watching your YouTube videos for a very long time, and I saw that you were open to. I thought I would be amiss if I didn't take the opportunity to actually have a conversation with you.
I love it. So tell me about you. Where are you calling in from?
So I'm from Staffordshire. Staffordshire in the UK is where I'm calling in from. At home, my home office. And
And what do you do?
so I train sales teams. Much like the young gentleman who was on with you. I'm 26.
I love it.
I've run multiple different businesses. I've done coaching, consulting. I've been in politics. Last year, I was selling AI. I was selling artificial intelligence for between $15,000 to $30,000 per month, doing that. And that was cold calling. And now I'm training up sales teams for a $2 million consultancy based in the US. But the reason I wanted to have a conversation with you was because I use a fair bit of NLP, not as much as a master does. I know a little bit of hypnosis, but nowhere near as much as you. And I'm curious your thoughts on where do you think is best to put NLP in terms of sales conversations with people. And I'd just love your thoughts and feedback on something like that. And yeah.
That's a phenomenal question. I actually was asked a similar question yesterday by somebody at lunch. They asked me, how much NLP is there in hypnosis? And NLP is a small slice of the hypnotic pie. It was the study of a hypnotist named Milton Erickson by two guys named Grinder and Bandler. You know all this. So the rest of the audience that didn't know all of that. So the answer to the question is 100%. Sometimes I'm asked when I'm going to go speak on somebody else's stage for 90 minutes, they say, we need the talk to be 90% content, 10% closing. And my response is that's impossible. It is going to be 100% closing and 100% content. And what I mean by that is you don't want to think about what percentage of your conversation is NLP, gambits, or techniques. What you want to ask yourself is, how do I communicate? Is the way that I communicate, am I speaking in gambits? Am I using sales strategies? Or do I just communicate effectively? And so it's one of those things that I seek a yes answer. I avoid say no questions. That's a sales technique. I want to keep people in a yes state, but that's not a sales technique. That's just the way that I communicate. I don't use sarcasm. Sarcasm is always perceived as an attack. So I do my very best to pay attention to whether or not I'm using even humor that is even, kind of mean-spirited. Yesterday, I had one of my sales people. You'll get amused by this. One of my salespeople contacted me directly, meaning via text, just sent me a text that said, hey, do you have any spare stamps or envelopes here at the office that I can use? And I was a little puzzled. They were asking me for stamps or envelopes in the middle of the day, since our business doesn't involve that. And so I put I question marked the text message. Well, they question marked it back. And I thought that was amusing. And what I wanted to say is, what are you doing looking for stamps and envelopes in the middle of the day? Number one. Number two, no, I don't have any. Who uses those anymore? And if you're paying bills in the middle of the day, get back on the phones, and attend to the calls. So my initial response was I was going to type back, stamps are for closers. And I didn't. And you're laughing because I know you can get it. I didn't, because I realized, no, that's mean-spirited. That's not effective communication. And while it was what came to mind, it wasn't effective. So what I like training salespeople, and I love salespeople, and I love anybody that trains salespeople, because we are the cornerstone of all economies. If nothing gets sold, there's no economy. So anybody teaching salespeople, anybody being a salesperson, you are what's right with the economy. And so what I want to do is transform how people communicate. How are they solution oriented? How do they figure out a way to solve the other person's challenge? And so the answer to your question is 100% of your communication should be NLP and effective communication techniques.
Got it. I've got another question for you, and I'll give you some context as well with this one. So the main thing I use is an approach called either empathy-based or trust-based sales. So the best way I can put it is I am long-term selfish. So short-term, selfless as possible, ensuring that the relationship is built and is strong, and I'm as honest as transparent as I can with everybody. But in the long term, yeah, I'm going to have your money, because short term, we've made every decision we can to make it best for you. So I'm always thinking about building trust and building the relationship with the person. So with that in mind, what would you say would be the best resources that I could start looking at to couple that way of doing selling with the techniques and the skills associated with hypnosis that you were just talking about?
I have a training program, digital training program called WWMD. What would a millionaire do?
Hmm.
And the first section of the audio training is all about influence. Because when people ask me, what's the number one skill for making money? You need to learn how to sell.
Hmm.
And I would disagree with what your statement was. I don't think that you are short-term selfish. I think that it's really healthy to be selfish. I think anybody,
short-term selfish,
you're
long-term.
short-term selfish. So I think everybody should be short-term selfish then. I think every salesperson needs to have a moral and ethical obligation to sell what they're selling or stop selling it. I think that your whole idea of, yeah, I want your money. Of course you do. It's a business. That's the point. Yes, you want their money, and you should make no apologies for that. Yes, I want to serve you, and yes, I want your money too. And I want to sell something to you that I can sell to you one time, and it gives you such a great result that the next time you have any inkling of anything in this area that you need, the first person you think of is me, because I over-delivered to you. And so I teach people, if you don't have that moral and ethical obligation to sell what you're selling, sell something different. And make no apologies that you're here to GTFM, get the freaking money. In fact, if somebody says to you, oh, you're just trying to sell me something, then I want you to say one word: duh. Of course I am. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for the entire population. Everybody wins. Yes, I am here to sell you something. Don't apologize for that. And I think the only time people apologize is when they're insecure and when they're not on point, when they're not absolutely certain that it's appropriate for them to sell things. So that's the first thing I deal with, is the salesperson's mindset about the whole process of selling. And when you know, it's kind of like me when I'm a single man walking up to a girl and asking her for her phone number so I can take her out. And she says, oh, no, I don't want to go out with you. And I stand there and I look at her and I get this befuddled look on my face and I say, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I don't even know what to do right now. This has never happened before. I've never had a girl not give me her phone number. So forget, I'm feeling really awkward right now. I'm standing here. I don't even know what to do. This is weird. Oh my God, I can't believe you said no to this gift. And immediately it cuts through the tension. If you've done it right and you've said it right, the girl should now be laughing, even if she doesn't want to give up her number, at the fact that you have that level of cojones, you have that level of confidence. All of a sudden, you're sexy again. All of a sudden, the person that didn't want to give you their phone number and said no, they're going, well, my gosh, if nobody else has ever said no to you, maybe I need to take a second look, because maybe I missed something. Maybe I should give you my phone number. There's a guy, and I met him in London. He's a Yank. I met him in London, though, and he was considered to be one of the top guys in the world at pickup. And I was going through a divorce. I mentioned it a moment ago in the previous caller, going through a divorce. My self-esteem was low. And I said, okay, because my nature is find the number one person in the world, pay them whatever they need to be paid, and then hack their system. So I pay this guy. He said, I'm in London right now. If you want to come study with me, you got to jump on a plane. So I jumped on Virgin. I flew across the pond, landed there, stay at the nicest hotel I can find in London. And he comes to meet me. There's a knock on the door. He opens the door, and it's nothing like what I was expecting. The guy's hair is a mess. His shirt's partly untucked. Does not look like a lady killer to me. His name was Owen. Also, his name's Tyler. Worked for a company called Real Social Dynamics. And I hire him to train me privately. What did he teach me? This guy, this frumpled, askew kind of man, I've never seen a better pickup artist in my life. And the whole core of everything he was teaching was certainty, was confidence, was walking up like you're doing somebody else a favor, not being worried about anybody's judgment, just knowing that you are good. And I watched him. One of the things he did, he said, we were in Piccadilly Square, and there was some women sitting at a cafe. He said, pick one of the women. I said, that blonde girl over there. He said, pick a color. I said, green. He said, stay close enough that you can hear me, far enough away they don't know we're together. I said, fair enough. I go stand near the girl. He walks up, and all he uses is the word green. Green, 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 green. He has a conversation with this girl. He only says the word green, no other words. And at the end of it all, he gets her phone number. It was remarkable. It was boggling. And he said, Marshall, it's the power of intention. It's the power. He's green, green, green. The girl looks at him like he's an idiot. Red. And he says, green. She says, red. Well, green, 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 green. Pretty soon she starts saying green. Then he pulls out a pen and a pad. He says, green. Hands her the piece of paper. Puts his hand up by his ear like that, like, call me. She writes down her phone number on the spot. He checks it on the spot. It was remarkable. So the answer to your question, how far do you go? You go until you close or until they go away. You just keep going, and you make it your nature to know you're giving away a gift.
Got it. And what was the resources you mentioned on that again? You mentioned your course on that, and
yes, it's called What Would a Millionaire Do? You can find it at Sylver.com because you called me up and you were interested. You call 1-800-92-POWER. Talk to my assistant Anthony and tell him I gifted you the digital version of What Would a Millionaire Do worth $500.
Oh, amazing! I'm gonna do that right now. I mean, I'm in the UK, so I might have to WhatsApp him or something. Or maybe Sylvester.
Yeah. You can email him at support.
Yeah.
At certaintyinc.com. Tell him, hello, my name's Ash Smith. I was on Marshall Sylver's show today, and he gifted me the digital version of What Would a Millionaire Do, and he'll send it right to you.
Amazing. I thank you, Marshall. I really appreciate that. And if you ever do one of these again, I'll be more than happy to come along if you'll have me, because this was absolutely fantastic. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm on the air live every single day at same time, same bat channel.
Amazing. I can do that. Support at certaintyinc.com.
Absolutely.
And and what was his name again? Sorry, I love names.
His name is AC because he's cool. All right, my brother, you make it an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you at a live event when you get to the States.
Yeah, thank you, Marshall. Really appreciate that, fella. And have a wonderful day.
Nice to meet you, Ash. Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Life is good. You're awesome. What a great show we've had. Great calls. Yeah, we're going to start taking your calls. So make sure that you are tuned in, and tomorrow get in the queue. I would love to chat with you. Good stuff. Hey, you're loved. Make it an awesome day. Tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. See you then. Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show coming up 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. I'm going to give you content, information, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice for having it all. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. So stay tuned.